Thank you, George. That was a great introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session for API as a product, that too within financial services. I have a tendency of walking when I'm talking out there, but I've been told that I can't do that because it's getting live streamed and they don't want my face out there on the camera. Clearly, I'm not good looking enough for that. All right. My name is Vishal Sharma. Currently, I'm working as one of the engineering leaders within Broadridge. By nature, I'm a fintech enthusiast and an API learner. I've been dealing with APIs for almost a decade now, but I'm still learning it because it's so much revolutionizing with every passing day, new security measures coming in, new evolution of how do we make sure to take it to our clients. The consumers are changing. So yes, it's a very nice space for us to be in. Take this as an example. We are running API days for the 10th year in a row. So it's a constantly evolving process. Throughout my professional life, I've worked in financial technologies. And that's what keeps me on my feet, motivates me to get up in the morning and get to work. Be it APIs, now we're getting into distributed ledger, Web3, and today during lunch, we were talking about quantum computing. How would that change the face of APIs as we move forward? So yes, this is how truly the landscape is changing for all of us. Before I get into the heart of the topic, which is API as a product, I wanted to talk a little bit about Broadrich. I'm not sure you guys have heard about Broadrich or not, but we are a global leader with over $5 billion in revenue. And there are a couple of cool facts. Before joining Broadrich, I was not aware of that. I always thought that as soon as a trade is settled, the job is done. But that's where I realized that's where another business gets started. Wherein the trade gets settled, it is sent to an exchange, it is then settled in an exchange, and finally a person gets the fund in their account, or a trade is being bought from the issuer side. The fun fact for us is we basically settle almost $9+ trillion in equity and fixed income in one calendar day, send across 7 billion communication transactions to the retail shareholders and to other parts of the community which are part of our Broadrich communication center. Another cool fact that is not listed on this slide. If you are a retail shareholder, there is a highly likely chance that you might have already interacted with Broadrich. We are the one who maintain proxy vote and proxyedge.com, wherein retail shareholders like you can have a power to influence the voting that is for board of directors or any other shareholder meetings that an issuer is bound to host. So that is all powered by our platform. All right, coming back to the topic in hand. So during this session, we'll be talking through API as a product, how it is different than APIs, API product management, and how much is enough, right? We are in a landscape wherein everyone is making 2 + 2 as an API and exposing it. So how do we manage that platform? Last but not the least, we'll be getting into how API product is making a significant impact on financial services, which by design has been very reserved, very orthodox. And this is a jam-packed session, guys. I've been given just 20-25 minutes to talk through it, though I can talk about this for days, if not weeks. But moving on. And again, to me, it seems like I'm preaching to the choir, but I'll just level set the playing field here. And I'll not go through the textbook definition of APIs. I'll just go with the myths that we have with API. Before joining Broadridge, I used to work with a very big financial institution where I used to manage the API management platform. Over there, rather everywhere in the industry, we have a myth that if we have an API management platform enabled in the firm, we are API compliant. Or if we are exposing our data as a service to our consumers, be it internal, we are API compliant. That's all the myth. We are not API compliant, and that's what you might be hearing in every session. I don't want to reiterate the obvious here, that till the time we have API product as a mindset, we are not API compliant. And despite of all these motivations that we all have to move towards API first mindset, we are still seeing that finance industry as a core is it's in infancy state when it comes to API management. You don't have to look anywhere. Go deep inside your own firms out there and see how many times when you create a platform, when you create an application, you're truly thinking about your consumers, making it an API-first mindset. So think about it. You don't have to tell me out there, and just introspect. Every time, at least whenever I talk to my teams out there, ask them, okay, how are your API status? What are you guys doing with APIs? A constant theme I hear is, Vishal, don't worry, we have APIs. We are API compliant. They're just checking a checkbox out there in compliance mode. But that's where I take them out for a litmus test. And I really like this illustration of an elephant and 6 blind men. Every of this man out there, from their perspective, they are right? One is saying that elephant is like a trunk, the other one is saying it's like a rope. That's what happens if we are too close to the implementation. That's where we have to abstract ourselves, and that's where I always call out. And to my teams, I'm like a broken record. Maybe to this forum, not yet. But truly, to get the true sense of APIs, we have to keep ourselves a foot away, if not a couple of feet away from the implementation, and see the holistic picture of how our consumers are trying to use it. And that's where I always say not all APIs are equal. Let's see what kind of APIs are you guys delivering today. There is an API as a service that is truly just used for integration. Suppose I'm making my own application, I'm exposing APIs, I'm making this up. I'm using a credit card application, I have to go to TransUnion. I'm consuming their APIs and publishing an API with an internal to the firm saying, okay, we will just do credit checks through one provider. That's an API as a service for us. That's just ensuring that we're creating applications out of it. The goal here, again, as I said, is of making an application. Second is API as an interaction. You'll be surprised or not, I'm not sure about it, but it depends. There was a survey published in Q4 2019 by one of the management consulting firms that said 85% of the financial services fail to recognize true value of APIs because they stop the buck at API as an interaction. This is where we service for a given channel. Say, oh, this is an experience API. We're going to give an experience for a mobile application or for a web application. Is that a true test of your API mindset character? I doubt. And that's where we see a lot of failure when it comes to monetizing your APIs. Because every time the front-end application changes, it expects you to change or add more steroids to your existing application. So what we did at the end, yes, we did a decoupled architecture, multi-tier, but we are still tightly bound to our application, that to front-end. True judge of character of any API is API as a product. This is where we truly package our software and send it out for consumption to our clients. How I see it, at least I'll visualize it. Blame me for being a visual thinker. Whenever I go to Target, I pick up stuff from the shelf. I look into the facts, nutrition facts out there, if I'm picking up something edible FMCG. If I'm picking up electronics, I see what is an SLA, what's the warranty of it. APIs are no different. If someone is coming to your API portal, they should be able to see what's an SLA of your API. What kind of services will you guys provide? If I'm planning to use your services, say, for example, if I'm doing trade settlement for you guys, and you guys say you want your services all 24/7, like 4 nines. If the underlying API cannot support it, you will not buy that API. It's as simple as that. If if I want to buy some certain which is high rich in protein, I'll not buy that I'll buy some other substance out there from the shelf. So that is how we basically take our APIs to next level of thinking truly about APIs, how they're packaged together to give that experience to the client. It's more of consumer-centric. I'll give you another example. I'll give an example of, say, for an employee. If I'm creating an employee resource, right, as a technologist, and I take the blame on myself as well. If I'm creating an employee resource for my employee data that is sitting at the backend system, I give all four operations, all four CRUD operations in that system: create, read, update, and delete. I expose it to the clients. And then I give role-based access to HR that will have all CRUD operations. To employees, they can just read. But they can see all four operations. So it is considered to be a very bad experience for consumers because it is not consumer-centric. Consumer-centric is, this is an HR product, oh boy, it's an HR product, or it is an employee product. That means HR can see all four CRUD operations, employee can just see read, or update few fields only. So that's how true evolution of API is, when you truly make it consumer-centric. Now, since we have different type of APIs, that means we should manage them differently as well. API as a service and API as an interaction generally follows a normal SDLC process, where you plan for it, you get a requirement for it, you design your service, you then plan for development of it, testing, deploying it. Then if there are any, as I said earlier, if there are any UI changes going forward for it, you will probably revise it. If no one is using it, it's drying down, you will retire it. Versus product management, API product management, on the contrary, goes off on a tangent than a normal SDLC process. What we do for this one is, we start designing the product with an outside-in view. And design thinking is of utmost importance for this. We cannot design an API product and monetize it till the time we have thought through as a consumer. We can build it for a specific consumer, that will be for services, not an API product. The main protagonist of this API product lifecycle is product management. It's a product manager, part of product management group, but it's not the whole and sole ownership of the product manager. Yes, they are accountable, but the responsibility is with the entire team. It's the combined ownership with tech and product combined. That's where I get a lot of questions. How do you form an API product team? Is it IT sits with product, or API product manager sits with an IT? No, it should be a normal product management for what your enterprise currently supports. That's how it should be. Nothing less, nothing more. So we design a product, we configure it. Configure is like, take resources from a couple of different endpoints that you have in the back end, create a product, then you manage it. You think about how are you producing that product? What will be the different tiers of it? Say you will be giving it as a gold tier, as a premium, bronze, whatever it is, you will define the consumption pattern of it, apply throttling to your product. Once you are done with it, you then package that all together, put the documentation, again, nutrition facts out there to your product, put it on the shelf that is published, and then measure it. Is it how many people are using it? How are they using it? Is it one time in a day that they're using it? Maybe it is just checking I'm just making that up, opening bell time, what is S&P behaving at one point in time? So maybe you're getting a burst of requests in morning hours and then not getting it throughout the day. That means you can release the compute and save some money there. So it's all about how you measure it. If the measurement is good, if you really like it, you're getting a lot of feedback, you're maintaining a CSAT, that is customer satisfaction score, or a net promoter score of your API product. If you have any feedback, you evolve it like any other product. If there are no customers of it, simply retire it. Don't waste time and energy on that product anymore. And as I was alluding to earlier, people ask this question, right? How much should a product management be done on our APIs? It's a simple rule. As your consumer influence decreases, your product management should increase. By that, I mean, if we are having our private APIs, and that's how I gel this into technology. I might geek out a little for the guys who are just from business over here. But when you're truly talking about APIs, a private APIs, where my application is just the consumer of my APIs, that's where we call it a own microservice that we develop. Microservice is not 2 plus 2. It's your domain that you create. It's a business offering that you provide to your clients. So that's a private API. Do we have to manage it? Not to an extent. You can work without a API management platform when you're working with your private APIs. Second set of APIs wherein your internal LOBs, and that depends what kind of firm is that. Is it a massive firm or a very small firm, a boutique shop? So you can merge internal LOB APIs and internal firm APIs. So over there, this is kind of a construct where you start using service meshes. This is east-west communication, not north-south yet. Because your internal firms are same ecosystem, same landscape, same IT landscape, and they can talk to each other. That's where you introduce service mesh. You should not truly introduce service mesh in your private APIs. Where it becomes interesting is when you start losing control of your consumers, say external consumers. That's where you start making more of the product management, like throttling, using API gateways. External public as an API, that's where you do utmost product management. I'll give you a quick example. ESPN, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of this. ESPN launched a public API initially when they were going all digital. They got so much traffic which their product manager did not anticipate for, and they were ultimately forced to close their APIs for public. Now they provide APIs, but just to partners. That means they went with a good approach. They provide the APIs to their product, to their consumers, but they did not think about how the consumption pattern would be. So it was at a place that they bought down their system for a couple of minutes. So that's where we have to be very cognizant about how are we trying to manage our APIs. Moving on, now I'm switching gears. We talked about API product. We talked about what are different types of APIs, how much of management is required. Now let's talk about APIs in financial services. Financial services, by their nature, by design, are highly regulated. Opening financial services by itself was a challenge. No one internally thought about that. I was reading an article that when it started, it was in a state of panic. That, okay, we have to open our APIs. We have to open our firms for consumers. It was not embraced when it started. Now, it's a different ballgame. But when we talk about APIs, it was forced in the financial services to open up their system, be it for open banking, PSD2. I'm pretty sure you guys might have heard about PSD2, not SRD2, because that's totally towards the shareholder rights. As a retail shareholder, you should get a communication anytime there is a meeting or a shareholder communication sent by an issuer. Japanese banking authority launched it. Singapore did a step in advance. They launched their finance as a service. Like truly everything that you have in a finance should be exposed outside. Recently, in North America, again, we always follow the pursuit of the Europe, right? So we started with API Standardization Industry Group that is organized by NACHA. It is basically to open up the industry within the US. Again, it's just that we have been following the pursuit for what Europe was doing. So we started opening up in this geography before we got this mandate. Again, AISG is not a mandate, it's a recommendation. But seeing what we are doing on the other side of the pond, we can get it anytime over here as well. That's why we started opening up our system. Now, if you closely monitor all the mandates, not the recommendation, but the mandates, they are mainly towards regulatory and data sharing side. Be it for your account validation, bank account information, payer or payee verification, or customer data control. That is what feds are mandating. They're not mandating core banking. They're not mandating payment access. It is regulated. I'm not saying it's not regulated. It is regulated, but it's not mandated to open it up. But since there is a lot of competition by the fintechs, that incumbents bank currently are making it faster. Take an example of core banking for loan processing. Today, the national average for loan processing is around, and I've been told I just have 2 more minutes. I'll try to wrap it up as soon as possible. So I've been told that loan processing takes around 45 minutes, 45 days, I wish 45 minutes, to close. It cannot be done sooner because of this system impact. System is not opened up yet. But organizations are working towards making it sooner and close it within 11 days. So that's how it is opening up your banking with the help of APIs. Payment is where truly things are changing. When we see a lot of P2P, we could not have imagined today's world without Zelle, where we can transfer money without paying extra charges to the bank for any transaction. Ultimately, we have grown through evolution, right? We had Iron Age, then Information Age, now is the age of collaboration, where we are truly collaborating and providing better services to our consumers. Who are the collaborating party here? Financial institution, payment providers, and retailers. And it's all built on trust. Today, people trust Amazon more than their banks. Imagine this, if Amazon as of now, they're using some third party to take care of the banking needs because they don't want to get into the regulatory business. Amazon is not far away from launching their own payment provider. Or in that case, so is Walmart. So that is where all these three players are combining together to give a better experience to the client. Like Home Depot is powered by Citi cards. So, but all the benefits that a Citi card member gets, Home Depot adds their own steroids to give better consumer experience. Just a fun fact, every time you swipe a credit card, there is a range of 3 to 4% a merchant and it goes to merchant and acquirer. It's like fees for using a credit card. Imagine a scenario wherein you just have to pay 1.5 to 1% only. But that credit card would be just for a given merchant only. Like Macy's. Are you using Macy's card anywhere else? I doubt. Home Depot, you're not using it anywhere else. That's where fintechs like Tandem, Google them out. Tandem, what they're doing is they are trying to reduce that. It's money from the retailer, not giving it back to the merchants, just transferring it within their own network. With that, they will be able to save billions of dollars and in return provide better services to us. That is the power of embedded finance. And that's exactly what we are trying to do in Broadrich as well, not on the finance, but empowering our retail shareholders, giving them options to merge, to basically provide better experience, have control on what do they think about, what they strongly think about their consumers, the retail shareholders. They can vote accordingly. If you are more ESG compliant, you should vote in that fashion for your issuers. So that's what we provide as part of Broadrich. With that, I'll take a break. And if you want to follow more, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I just want to close with this one statement saying that digital business is a composable business. And API products are the foundation of that assembly line. We cannot think about anything without an API product in your digital ecosystem. With that, I'll conclude. And thank you so much for being a patient audience.